and welcome back to By Myself But Not Alone. This is episode 16, Boise, Idaho. So we got up early the next morning after the Vegas show. It was going to be a good little trip to Boise. It was 625 miles approximately, which would take us 9.5 hours, provided we didn't screw around too much. But, you know, no guarantees on that one. So we hit the road, and as soon as we got moving, Rob took full advantage of the back seat and crashed. The previous night when we got back to the hotel after the show, against his own better judgment, he decided to finish off what beer we had left. He wasn't too thrilled to get up as early as we did, but he knew he had that entire back seat to look forward to, stretch out in, and that's exactly what he did. We made pretty good time that first couple hours. We didn't hear a peep out of Rob until we hit a rest area, and then 2 minutes back on the road after the rest area, we didn't see him again until we had been pulled over. Yep, we drove straight into what I'll call a permanent speed trap. We passed a sign that said 70 miles an hour. That's about what we were doing, maybe a little faster. And then about 100 yards down the road, we passed another sign that said 40 miles an hour. No sign in between that said reduce speed ahead, nothing like that. I didn't really see the second sign because I was paying attention to this big curve we were on, and as soon as it straightened out, there was a sign, 40 miles an hour. As soon as I saw it, I let off the gas, and by that time I looked in the rearview mirror and the cop was flying up on us. When we got pulled over, you could see a couple houses on each side of the road, a couple other buildings, but we were out in the middle of nowhere, so I would imagine that speeding tickets is the town or village, whatever you call it, is probably their primary source of revenue. It was a routine stop. He asked us where we were coming from, where we were going. I told him we just seen Metallica the night before. We were going to go see him 6 more times before heading home. He said, wow, you guys must really like him. So I had to give him the 30-second black ticket story. I told him we had a ticket that allowed us access to any show we made it to, so we were going to try to hit them all, do the whole tour. I even showed him my black ticket. I said, yeah, I got a black ticket, and it looks like I'm about to have a white ticket to go with it. He didn't seem to appreciate my joke much. He just took my license and insurance and walked on back to the car. But when he came back up, he told me he did me a huge favor. He did write me a ticket, but he scaled the speed we were doing back to a level that wouldn't require that he keep my license. It was going to be a $100 fine that I could just mail in when I got home. I was okay with that. He was just doing his job. Regardless of how the speed zone there was set up, I was doing 70 miles an hour in a 40 mile an hour zone, so it was going to be okay. He told me to keep an eye on the speed limit. He said, have fun, but be safe. And the last thing he said before he walked away, he looked right at me and he said, rock on. Headed back to his car. I thought that was pretty cool. As we were pulling away, I told Michelle if he didn't give me a ticket, I had planned on giving him my Las Vegas pick. And she said, what the hell would you do that for? And I said, well, why wouldn't you do that? She laughed, rolled her eyes, and said, yeah, right, whatever, like she didn't believe me. But he did give me the ticket, so that notion was out the window. From that point on, we had Rob's company back. He was up. He seemed good and rested. And a little ways down the road, we passed a sign that told us that the exit for Hammett, Idaho was coming up. We didn't know that was coming, so we didn't have time to pull over at that sign. We had a semi right behind us, but we were going to keep our eyes peeled for the next sign, and we knew what we had to do. We came up on the next sign, we pulled over, we all jumped out and got our picture with the sign. It was spelled exactly like Kirk's last name, so we had to do it. We logged on to Facebook to post the picture on the black ticket page, and we saw that several other groups of people did the exact same thing. After we passed the exit, I started wishing that we had taken the exit so we could get another picture of a different sign. You know, one that would say Hammett one way, something else the other way. Well, fortunately, black ticket holder David Pettis did get that picture. He posted it up in the group, and I borrowed his picture when I made the music video for the end of this episode. So I want to make sure to give David the photo credit in that cool sign you're going to see in the video at the end. Thanks for letting me use that picture, David. That's a really nice shot. The other thing that I really remember about that drive is the Google lady kept putting us on a route. And following her route, the signs all said that the road was about to be completely closed. A couple times we ended up taking exits based on what we were seeing on the signs, and old Google lady went nuts. She was all kinds of dizzy. She was acting like she was drinking with Rob the night before, but didn't have a chance to sleep it off the way he had. We ended up seeing a guy working out in a field, and I can't remember if it was Rob or Michelle. One of them went up and asked the guy, how the hell did we get out of here? He guaranteed that if we kept going on that road, we'd get ourselves in a situation that'd be a lot harder to get out of and back on the highway going the other way. It turned out that we had taken the perfect exit. He just pointed us back, said go under the highway and use the ramp and get on, and he provided an alternate route to get around all the construction. So I want to give a big thanks to the stranger in the field who'll never know it, We followed his directions. We had to backtrack a little bit, but we eventually made it to Boise. We drove around for a little bit looking for a hotel. We finally got one right behind Walmart. That was cool. We walked on up and got some food. There was a pre-party somewhere that night, but as late as it was getting to be, we weren't going to make it. We ate, messed around a little bit. We all fell asleep pretty quickly. We woke up the next morning and headed on down to the Taco Bell Arena. It was on the campus of Boise State, and when we got down there, it was a little earlier than I had been used to getting down there, but there was a good group of black ticket holders there. Just like in Vegas, Rob went to find his line. Michelle went and joined the other black ticket holders. So I got busy handing out patches. I got quite a few black ticket intro videos. I met a lot of cool people. I met a lot of new people that I hadn't met yet. And I got some cool interviews. The arena seemed to be quite a bit smaller than the other arenas on the tour. And when we got inside, I was talking to a security guard who told me they sold just under 12,000 tickets. So in comparison, that was a much smaller crowd. You certainly would not have known that during the show, though they were a lively bunch. Right before Jim came on, I was doing my trip around the rail. I walk along and kind of try to film everybody on the rail. And I came across Brian Robertson, Brandon Murray, and James Arnott from Wales. Brandon knew about my pick chase, trying to get 2 from each show, and after he had talked to quite a few other people, he realized seemed to be a shortage of Vegas picks for whatever reason, and he asked me if I got the 2 I needed. I told him that I just managed to get 1 that time, but I wasn't too worried. I had quite a few spare picks I'd be able to trade for 1 down the line. Well, James was standing there listening to us, and he said, well, hold on a second. And he pulled a Las Vegas pick out. He told me he had gotten an extra one. He said he really appreciated the patch. And he would really like to give me his extra Las Vegas pick if I needed it. I said, no, you don't owe me anything for that patch. And he just smiled and he said, and you don't owe me anything for this. And he handed me the pick. So I accepted it. We both felt good about it. So I want to say one more time, thank you very much, James. You knew full well that at the end of the tour, that was probably going to be one of the most sought after picks. And you passed it along to the next guy. That was really cool of you. Shortly after that, Jim and Joe were up. From the entire tour, I remember Boise as being one of Jim's most powerful performances. He really got him fired up. There was a good interaction with the crowd. That crowd really seemed to bond with him, and by the time Metallica came on, Jim had them ready. They went nuts. As the set list goes, it was a pretty straightforward mix, as it had been in Vegas. I'd say the song of the night for me that night would have been the Four Horsemen. I got my 2 picks. It was a great show. And then after the show, something happened that I'm probably never going to forget. Everyone was outside as we did each night, finding out who was going on and who was going home. The ones that were going home, we were finding out when they were coming back, that type of stuff. After almost everyone was gone, we started making our way back to the car, and we came across black ticket holder Brian Robertson. He didn't look well. It kind of looked like something terrible had happened, so we asked him if he was okay, and he said he had lost his black ticket and his patch. It was tucked in the protective sleeve that he had his black ticket in. He was really upset, and I felt terrible for him. I couldn't imagine. So all I could think to say was, well, maybe somebody will find it and turn it in. He said he had already talked to someone inside, and they took his phone number, and they said they'd notify him if anybody turns it in. But he just didn't see any way that was going to happen. Well, my first attempt to say something that made him feel better didn't work out, so I had to rely on Old Faithful. This is something I do in my own life that almost instantly works every time. So I looked at him and I said, can I say something to you? I don't want you to take it wrong, and I don't want you to misinterpret, what I'm trying to say. He looked at me and said, sure, what is it? And keep in mind, we didn't really know each other that well. We were black ticket acquaintances, so it was a little risky, but I said, what the hell? I told him to think of all the people out there who have children with terminal illness or other serious medical conditions. They've got problems. You lost your damn ticket. Come on, man. It ain't the end of the world. And I said it pretty hard, a little harder than that. I told him I was sure CID was going to work with him. They were going to let him continue to go to shows using his driver's license, and he still might get it back. It wasn't over yet. He turned and looked directly at me, and I said, whoa, we're still friends, don't hit me. Threw him some peace signs. There was a pause, and he said, no, Mike, you're absolutely right. Thank you for putting that into perspective for me. There was another pause, and he said, but it still sucks. And that's when he gave me a quarter smile. Now, that thank you was more sincere in that moment than any I can really ever remember hearing. And it was coming from someone I didn't know that well. He couldn't fake that. I could feel it. He meant it. And I don't think I'm ever going to forget that, because in that moment, Brian Robertson and I went from being black ticket acquaintances to very good friends. I gave him another patch, and I told him if the other one came back to him miraculously, just to return the one I had given him, the extra. So we all said goodnight. Michelle, Rob, and I headed back to our hotel, and when we got there, I received a text. I'm not sure how he got my phone number. I would imagine from his road dog, Brandon Murray. Anyway, in his text, he was extremely happy. The venue had contacted him. Somebody found his black ticket and turned it in, and he was to stop by on his way out of town the next day and pick it up. So with that great news, we all went to sleep. We got up the next morning and headed to Utah. I want to say thanks to the crowd in Boise. Once again, you were one of, if not the smallest crowd on the entire tour, but I would have had no way of knowing that if I'd have had my eyes closed. You guys rock. I want to say this one more time to my friend James about his extra Las Vegas pick. That was a really, really cool thing you did, and I appreciate it. Thank you. And to everyone else, I'd like to say thanks for watching. If you like what we have going on here, we'd appreciate it greatly if you consider subscribing to the channel. Give us a like, a dislike, whatever the case may be. Leave us a comment. Let us know how we're doing. If you find yourself in a video, please feel free to share it to social media and help us grow the project. Next episode, Salt Lake City, Utah. We'll see you there. Until then, rock on. So, state your name and where you're from.
My name's James Arnott and I'm from Swansea, Wales.
My name's Oscar and I'm from Sweden.
My name's Eric, I'm from Sweden as well.
My name is Paula and I'm also from Sweden.
Simon from Sweden.
I'm Nicole, I'm from South Australia.
I'm Beck, I'm from South Australia.
I'm Claire, I'm from Western Australia.
I'm Phil DeWitz, I'm from San Francisco.
Angela Carlson, Martindale, Ashton, Idaho.
Alrighty, how long have you been a Metallica fan?
I've been a Metallica fan since '92, so that's 26 years.
Have you seen them before, live?
Yeah, this is my 31st show today.
31st?
31st, yeah.
Congrats on that.
Thank you.
Since 2002.
Since the Black Album, 92-ish, maybe.
I would say around 2005-ish, but my first show was 2009.
Yeah, about 04. My first show was in 07.
Alrighty, so you've all seen Metallica before. Are you counting your shows? How many times have you seen them?
For this show tonight, it's gonna be my 53rd, I think, yeah.
Tonight will be my 161 first show.
Wow.
And 62nd show.
Around 40.
Since I was about 15, 16, so 20 years.
I was a little bit late to the party. 2007, 2008, I think I found them.
20 years, 1998, Garage Inc.
Since 89 or 90.
Have you seen them before live?
That's show 158.
Excellent. Next question was going to be how many times?
Since 1982.
Whoa, nuh-uh. Is she that old?
Yes.
82?
1982.
For real?
Yes.
Right on. Hold on, now you messed me up. We edit this stuff out.
Okay, that's
But
good.
you caught me off guard. You don't look that old.
Yes.
Hard question, maybe not. Some people go right to it. Can you narrow it down to a favorite song?
Favorite song is generally Disposable Heroes. I just love anything with a good galloping riff, and that's got one of the best. So,
Do you have a favorite live song?
so again, Disposable. I've only had it twice. I love it when that comes out. So that's always good. I mean, most stuff is it's all good. End of the day, all good.
All right, how about favorite album?
Favorite album? Generally, you got to pick Puppets. I mean, it kind of changes, but Puppets is generally the top pick.
My favorite album is probably the most common we've heard.
Yeah, it's kind of everything that's good about them distilled into one thing. So
It's the perfect album.
yeah.
Can you narrow it down to a favorite song?
Favorite song? The favorite song that I haven't played, Fixer. Yeah.
That's a good one. When people ask me that, I always go safe and say Master Puppets.
Favorite song live? I would say I really love No Leaf Clover. I heard that 2 months ago, so I would go with that one right
Okay,
now.
so or otherwise, just in general, can
Just in general, I love Harvester of Sorrow live.
I would say right now it's Unforgiven 3.
get
Probably Disposable Heroes.
Yeah.
all right? How about favorite album?
Black Album, for sure.
Okay.
I'll go between Master Puppets and Black Album. I'll go with Black Album today.
Yeah, I know it's a hard question. That's why I ask it.
Yeah.
It's
It's a really, really hard question. It varies on different mood I am. Today I went through Saint Anger album actually, so I'll go with that one.
Probably Ride the Lightning.
All right.
I would love to hear Eye of the Beholder. That's my number one. Would love to hear live. But don't know.
It's a trick question. It's hard. That's why I asked.
Yeah, changes depending on what mood I'm on. What mood I'm in, I think. At the moment, I think Fight Fire with Fire is up there. One of my favourite songs live is always Battery.
Yeah.
For me as well, I think, yeah, this is a hard question. It's like asking who your favourite kid is. It depends on my mood. Depends on my mood, and I do like hearing Battery live. I really enjoy Unforgiven 3 as well because the lyrics really resonate with me, and same with Nothing Else Matters, even though it's standard, but
All right.
yeah.
All right. It's not going to get any easier. Favorite album?
Black Album, for what it represents. It was my first Metallica album. It was what introduced me to Metallica and to Sandman. Like, it's so iconic, but it's my favourite for that reason.
Good answer.
I think I have to say Justice. Yeah. That's well and truly up there. But considering we're on the Hardwired Tour, that's up there at the moment as well. So.
Justice.
You don't even have to think about it.
Stories.
All righty. Do you have a favorite Metallica show moment? The one thing, I know you got a bunch of them. Does one stick out to you
The Fillmore shows and the S&M, the original S&M shows would be my two sort of high points. There are many, but those are the two that stick out in my mind.
Do you have a Metallica nightmare? You know, at a show, did anything ever go so awry that you wish you would have been there?
No, they've all been pretty awesome.
Alrighty, can you narrow it down to one favorite song?
Not even close. I mean, over 30 years, they've made such different music that it depends on what mood I'm in. Like, sometimes one song feels like my favorite, and the very next day, some other song feels like my favorite. So.
Alrighty, a little easier question, but not really. Can you narrow it down to one favorite album?
Not even close. Same thing.
Can you narrow it down to a favorite song?
The Unforgiven, Sandman, Nothing Else Matters. That's my favorite right now.
Okay.
Okay.
Can you narrow it down to a favorite album?
Justice for All.
How about favorite band member, past or present? You could say Dave if you want.
I don't think I can have a favourite. I mean, yeah. I mean, probably Lars and James on a split level, really. But they're all awesome. They're all fantastic. So I can't really pick one.
Final favorite question: do you have a favorite band member, past or present?
I have to go with James Hetfield, of course.
I'm not sure if I have really. I love Jason when he was in the band, but I'll go with James as well then, I guess.
That one is so hard, I think. It's a tight cut between all of them, but I would go with James or Lars.
And you did find James at the show in Lincoln?
Yeah.
Was it Lincoln?
Yeah, it was Lincoln.
Yeah,
in Lincoln. Yeah, I got a hug from James. So.
Yeah, that
wasn't false, wasn't it?
Yeah.
James never looked so good. That was, with all due respect, that was cool. That was very cool.
Probably Lars.
Lars?
Yeah.
One more favorite question. Do you have a favorite band member, past or present?
Some people think that I don't mind a bit of James.
I like the way you said that. I don't mind a bit of him either. All right, Beck?
I've always had a bit of a soft spot for Kirk. My meet and greet was on his birthday a few years ago, and I got a huge hug from him, and he was really sweet about it, and I sort of had a bit of a soft spot for him after that, so I'll say Kirk for some variety.
Yeah, mine would be Rob, just because he's a stallion. He's fit like an ox, like a baton.
You guys are wild.
I don't know, man. They all add something different to the mix. It wouldn't be Metallica if it was just one of them, so I'm going to go with,
Lars.
Like that was a dumb question, right? Is there one person in your life that you credit with turning you on to the band in the first place?
Probably my old school friend, a guy called Damien. I'd seen them at the Queen tribute concert on TV, and I just didn't get it. Didn't really, the music didn't grab me. And about 6 months later, he came around. He had a tape with the Black Album. We played it, and then I think by the time Wherever I May Roam was on, I was in. I was hooked.
And it was over.
That was it.
Turn out the lights, the party's over.
Exactly.
Right on.
My older brother. I was probably 13, 14, and listening to things like Spice Girls, and my brother went, "Nah, man, that's not happening. This is the Metallica Black Album. Listen to this, and you'll be sorted." And from then on.
Okay.
I don't. I came across them myself, more or less, just come across it through other bands and hear about it, and it just clicked. It just sounded right and it felt right, and just sort of went, wow, why have I never heard this? And that was the end of it.
Alrighty.
And for me, it was my brother Craig. He was similar to Nicole. He was like, you should really listen to this album. Played Die Die My Darling. I thought it was an original Metallica song. I thought it was amazing. And I was like, oh, Metallica are great. And then I heard actual Metallica, and I was like,
oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
I had a neighbor who used to babysit me when I was living in Texas as a kid, who would come over and blast Metallica and Anthrax, and I just fell in love. And to this day, they're still my two favorite bands.
I hit heavy metal in my 6th or 7th junior high, and a guy named Wade Johnson used to draw Iron Maiden on my notebooks.
Shout out Wade.
True story.
We come from all. Oh, excuse me, my gum's falling apart. We'll edit this out. I don't want to spit that on you. Sorry. Maybe we won't edit it. We're gonna edit it out.
For real.
Yes. Okay. We come from all walks of life as Metallica fans. Would you mind telling us what you do for a living?
Sure. I work in newspapers. I design and edit local newspapers and put them all together.
I have not had one of those yet.
Yeah.
Right on.
I work in a sports store. Yeah.
And I've been working as a systems developer for the last, 6-7 years.
And I work as an animal caretaker at a veterinarian clinic.
Work in a warehouse, like driving forklifts and stuff.
All right, that's what I do.
I am mostly a mum of 2 little boys. I'm a nurse by trade. I don't nurse. I'm kind of a bit in the middle of raising kids and going to Metallica shows.
Well, I'm told mother's the hardest job you could possibly have.
It is, man. Yeah.
Right on.
My background is in law. I'm a lawyer. I'm working as a trademark examiner at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. I work in records management in local government, and I'm also a group fitness instructor.
We come from all walks of life as Metallica fans. You mind if I ask what you do for a living?
I am a software engineer. I work for Facebook.
I am a nail tech. I do nails.
Oh, good work. Want to
Yeah,
zoom in
these
on
are my
that?
Metallica nails.
Right on. Want to give yourself a plug? Your business?
Angela Carlson. I do nails in Ashton, Idaho.
You have a shop? I mean, salon?
Yes, I have my own salon.
There we go. The watchers can look you up. Okay, how about Breuer? What did you think before you saw him, and what do you think now that you've seen him?
Okay, before I saw him, I was a little unsure on a few levels. Just the whole comedian thing before a music act. I know it used to be done in the 70s, but wasn't something I was familiar with, so I wasn't sure how it would go down. And being from the UK, Jim Breuer isn't very well known over there, so I knew of him and had seen his stuff via Metallica before, so I kind of had an idea of what to expect. But yeah, it's been pretty good so far. I've only seen it 4 times, so
Okay.
I mean, it's like any support act. Like I saw Kvell Attack loads in Europe, and I love them. But when you see the same set for the 12th time, it's a little bit, come on. But Jim's been changing the stuff up, and it's been good so far.
Happy with it.
Yeah, and he married a few of my friends in Vegas, so that was fun.
How about Breuer? What do you think about that?
He's a great guy. I mean, it's like on stage and off stage, he's a really common guy. He comes out to the queue sometime and he can talk and have a good time with the fans. So yeah, he's a really common guy. Yeah, I really like him.
So no problem with it?
No, opposite. It's a really good one.
Some people want to hear another band, but you know,
no,
you're good
I can
with
stick
it.
around with him for a few more shows. That's good.
Okay.
Yeah, as Oscar said, he's a super cool guy, all into Metallica, super big fan, and to me, it's it feels a bit fresh to have something new instead of seeing an opening act. Obviously, it's nice to have an opening act as well, but it's funny. I like it a lot. I mean, it's fun. It's always fun for me.
Yeah, I like that he's opening for Metallica. It's something new, it's different, and since he's close friends with the bands, he's a really down-to-earth guy, and he's super kind and sweet. So yeah, a lot of fun to watch that. He improvises so well, so we're impressed by that.
Yeah, I agree. Great guy, very funny, and went to 2 of his own shows.
Yeah, his stand-up shows.
Great, so fun.
So no problems across the board. They're all happy with Jim.
Yeah.
Breuer as the opening act. What do you think about that?
First show in America, haven't seen him yet.
Okay. I'll find you after the show.
I think he's doing really well. I think he's taken a lot of feedback and development on board over the last dozen shows, however many we've done. And I think it's a really tight show that he's got now with some different stuff coming in. He's doing really well.
I mean, I don't know if he's going to see this, but Vegas was my first show, so this is only my second time seeing him tonight, and it's a bit of a soft pass for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. He'll probably check it out at some point. But he doesn't mind. No, he doesn't mind. He likes he's real.
He likes the feedback.
That's what's cool about How about Breuer opening act? What do you think about that? What did you think when you first heard it? And then what do you think now?
So I was pretty stoked when I heard it because he emceed a bunch of the 30th anniversary shows, and he did Icon. He's kind of been in and around Metallica for a while, so it seemed like a unique, novel idea. I was somewhat worried about whether or not it would actually play well, and it took, I think, a few shows for the rhythm to kind of figure itself out. But I think it's actually better than an opening band. I really like it.
The new album. Yeah. What do you think of that? Did you see it coming?
Yeah, I mean, it's great. I mean, it'd been so long since Death Magnetic, you were never quite sure what you were going to get. But to me, it sounds fresh. It still sounds great 2 years on. It's kind of a natural progression from Load for me. It's got a lot of Load flavour to it, but still keeping that core Metallica sound. I mean, they've done 9 tracks from it live. They've all been great. Hopefully we'll get to the other 3 at some point. But yeah, it's been a big triumph for me.
What do you think of the new album?
The new album is amazing. I like all the songs. I think they got together pretty good. But I mean, it's took them 5 years since the last album, so it should even be a good piece. So yeah, I really love it. Yeah.
I love the new album. I think it's great. I think it has everything. They should play Hail on Fire more often because it's a great live song. Yeah, love it.
Did you see it coming? I didn't see it coming.
No, it came from nowhere. I was just so blown away when I heard Hardwired Selfless Rock was, totally blown away.
Yeah.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, we were together when we just pressed play the first time. We just sat and listened. We're like, it was insane. Yeah, I love the album so much. Spit Out the Bone is the one I'm usually doing in the car. Otherwise, live, it's Halo on Fire. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. I love it. Probably my favorite song is 31. So I hope to see that live one day.
We haven't seen that yet, have we? Kind of trying to keep track, but you know how hard that is. What do you think about the new album?
I love it. It takes me a long time to warm up to a new album from anyone. And I have to play it over and over and over and over and over, and then all of a sudden I'll go, yeah, cool. I liked this one pretty quickly. So
did you see it coming, or did it kind of catch you off guard? Me personally, I thought they were too. I didn't think they were going to give us this. Or you understand the?
Yeah.
It's not about my answer.
Try not to go in with too many expectations. I think we try and when there's an album coming out, keep an open mind and.
It blew me away. That's what I mean. I didn't see that coming.
Yeah. I don't think I knew what to expect. I think I was a bit go in with an open mind, see what happens.
That's the smartest answer always.
Yeah, love it. I think it's great.
Love it.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
One more after this one.
I love it. Spit Out the Bone when I heard that, because when the album launched, I wanted to wait till 9 a.m. to go to the CD shop and buy it. Played it on Spotify, and then I was like, I'm only going to choose one song to listen to before I actually go and buy the CD, and I randomly picked Spit Out the Bone, and I was like,
oh, nice.
Yeah.
So you're fine with the new album.
Yeah.
What do you think of the new album? Did you see it coming, and what do you think about the new album?
I love the new album. I was one of the fortunate few who got to go up to HQ a couple months before the album came out and preview it. And there's a video somewhere on Metallica.com of a handful of us like reacting, and you can just see the look of utter shock on our face. We all loved it, and I think that it's as with most of their stuff, where they are emotionally right now, which is what I want from the band, right? So like they grow, they move, they change, and they make the music that makes sense to them in that moment. And this is, I think, where they are, and the songs are fucking killer. So,
Have you ever met the band?
I have not met the band yet.
Do you want to meet the band?
You know, I'd like to, but it's not the most essential. You know, it would be cool to meet them, but I wouldn't feel like I was missing out if I'd never met them. You know, like if I had a choice between meet and greet and Snake Pit, I'd probably take Snake Pit.
Yeah.
But you know, it's all good. If I got the chance, I wouldn't turn it down.
Yeah, you may or may not, I don't do this on every interview, you may or may not agree with me on this, but you've met the band many times. They're right over there.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, this is one of the best things about this whole Black Ticket experience, is meeting everyone and getting to know people, and then coming back the second time, third time, and seeing familiar faces and getting to know people, and you know, it's cool, you know.
Yeah, it's not all about the music,
No,
there's much more to it.
I'm originally from a little village in Wales, and it kind of spins me out that I'm in the middle of America, talking to people from Guatemala and Uruguay and
Right
all
on.
over the US, and you know, Metallica, they bring everybody together like that, and it's pretty unique and pretty special.
Yes,
it's a great thing.
Would you agree? Summarization of the Black Ticket. We're traveling around the United States, meeting the world.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, it really is brilliant. It's one of the best things they've done for me. I think it's such a great idea. Whoever came up with it should, you know, get a raise, whatever.
Yeah.
Promotion. I'll be doing it in Europe as well. I'm fortunate enough to get the European one, so again, going to meet more people over that side of the pond, and yeah.
Have you guys met the band? Have you all met them before?
I met him once for a signing thing when I was releasing the WorldWired to Self-Destruct album in London 2 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, I met him a few times. I had a meeting with
I had my meet and greet in May this year, 2018. So I met 3 of the guys, and I'm meeting James in March as well. So that's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I met them last year. Won a meet and greet, and I have one again. So I have a new meet and greet on Sunday in Spokane.
If the band members themselves at some point in time should happen to see this, do you have a personal message for them?
Firstly, just thank you. Thank you for all the music and everything you've given us over the years. You've always been so inspiring. It's always been like a comfort blanket, something to go to if you're feeling shitty, or just you want something to pump you up or celebrate the good times. Metallica's always there. And like I say, this thing now, bringing all these people together is fantastic, and thank you.
If the band members themselves ever see this, do you have a message for them?
If they ever see us, I will just get them a message, just keep going, never stop playing. Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Oh, and you have go ahead.
Yeah. Love you guys. Love what you do. Keep on doing it. You're doing it really well. To see you guys go on for a long, long time. So fucking just kick ass.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more with that. It's the same here. I love you guys, and I would love you to keep going forever. We're always here to back you up.
Yeah, same. Keep going. Love what you do. Go for it.
All right, and I said we were done, but you want to give a shout out to do you have a flag? Can you hold that up and tell me a little bit about this?
Sure. So, what's up? Is it the right way?
Yeah. Yep.
Perfect.
And what's your number? You were telling me about, wasn't that the first registered?
Yeah, Met Club Scandinavia.
Yeah, it's first ever
So
registered.
So what's your actual number? Number 1?
It's actually 0. It's crazy.
Oh, you.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. I've been meaning to ask you guys, but no, that's great. Hang on while you got it up. Let me take a still. If the band members, any of them, all of them, should happen to see this at some point in our future, do you have a message for them? A personal message?
Not in particular. They've heard my personal messages a few times. Fuck yeah.
Oh, yeah. I love that. Beck?
Of all the things that I haven't said so far, I would like to tell them thank you for bringing me my best friend.
Oh, yay!
Because
I
love you too, but I don't know where I'd be without this one. And this is the only reason that we met. So
very true.
Thank you.
Very true.
I guess I would just say cheers. Cheers, mate. It's been fun. It's helped me travel the world and meet friends I never thought I'd meet and hear things I never thought I'd hear.
All right.
It's good.
Did you guys bring a flag with you? A lot of the guys?
Yeah, it's over there.
Oh, can you run and grab it? Oh, nice. Get in there, brother. Oh, yeah. Oh, and I want to get you. That's awesome.
It's just a memory of my friend who, I don't know, just didn't come.
Who is that guy?
This is Networld Steve. He's a cunt.
Yep, I know him well. Shout out, Steve, if you can hear me.
There's a reverse side to this as well if you want to see it.
Oh, yeah. All right, then let me get a picture. If the band members themselves would happen to see this at some point in time, do you have a message for them?
Thank you for everything you've given us to get us through all of the hard times in life and all the good times in life.
If the band members themselves should happen to see this in the future, do you have a personal message for them?
I'm glad you stayed together all these years. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to see you for the first time.
First time. Whoa. Congrats on that.
First time.
Gonna make the world safe for democracy, aren't you?
What is democracy?
Got something to do with young men killing each other, I think. For democracy, any man would give his only begotten son.
Suffered massive and irreparable damage. Had I not been sure of this, I would not have permitted him to live.
He is the omelette, legless wonder of the 20th century.
It's Morse code. SOS. Help. He's the product of your profession.
I had legs, I could run away. I had a voice, I could yell for help. If I had arms, I could kill myself.
Death has a dignity all its own.